Hey everyone, this video is going to walk us through how to find your greatest common factor of a polynomial. So I have 18x squared minus 12x to the third. And so we're going to draw our factor tables. And so under here, I'm going to write out all the factors of 18 and then all the factors of 12. And so I have 1 and 18, I have 2 and 9, I have 3 and 6. Here I have 1 and 12, I have 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. And so I'm going to look through my factors and see which of is the largest factor that is on both tables. And so in this case, it's 6. So at the top above my 18, I'm going to write 6, and I'm going to multiply it by whatever its factor pair is, and in this case, it's 3. So I have 6 times 3. That gives me 18. I'm going to do the same thing over here, and I'm going to use my 6, but in this case, its pair is 2. Okay, so I'm going to, and these two numbers should multiply to give me 18, and these two should multiply to give me 12. I'm going to sneak my little subtraction sign in there, and then I'm going to expand my x squared. So x squared is really x 2 times, so x times x, and x to the third is really x times x times x. It's x 3 times. And so I'm going to circle what is common between these two parts that are on the top. So I'm not looking at anything else anymore besides what's at the top. And so they both have a 6. Okay, they both have this 1x. And then I'm looking to see, well, can I circle another x? And the only way you can circle it is if there's another x on both sides, and there is. So I can circle one more x. And so everything that is circled has to be able to be circled on both sides. Okay, so I circled 6 and I circled 2 x's. And so that gives me 6x squared. And this is your greatest common factor of the polynomial. Okay, we're going to take it one step further and factor out this 6x squared from this whole polynomial that we have. And so we had 18x squared minus 12x to the third. And I know that it's not in order, but that's okay for now. I'm going to factor out my 6x squared. And so you already did the work to find what is the greatest common factor, and that's what goes on the outside. And what goes on the inside is what we have left up here. So on my left side, or in my first term, I have a 3 left, so the 3 is going to go inside. I have my subtraction sign, and then I have 2x left on the other side. Okay, and this is me factoring out the greatest common factor of 18x squared minus 12x to the third. So 6x squared is my greatest common factor, and then this is what remains when I factored it out. Okay, we're going to try another one. This was number 2. We're going to try to look at number 7 on your worksheet. And so number 7 has 50x squared v to the 4th plus 75xv to the 3rd. And so I didn't leave a lot of space at the top, but make sure you leave yourself enough space. And so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do my factor tables. And so I have 1 and 50, 2 and 25, and then 5 and 10. And 75, I have 1 and 75, and 3 and 25. And so in this case, my greatest common factor is 25. Okay, so at the top, I'm going to write out my greatest common factor of the coefficients. So 25 times its pair, which was 2, and 25 and 2 give you 50. And I'm going to write it at the top over here, my 25. And in this case, I multiplied it by 3. That was its pair. And 25 times 3 is 75. And I'm going to expand my variables. So I have x squared, so I have 2 x's, and I have v to the 4th, so I have 4 v's. And then I just have 1 x here and 3 v's. And so we're going to circle what is common between our parts that we have written at the top, and this is addition in between. And so they both have a 25. I have 1x here and 1x here. And I usually do one piece at a time so we don't get confused. And I have 1v and 1v. I have 1v and 1v. I have another v and another v. And I cannot circle another v because although there's a v here, there is not one here. So the only way you can circle it is if it's in both terms. In this case, this v is only in the first term. So there's nothing left that I can factor out. So my greatest common factor is all of the parts that I've circled. So I have a 25. You can look at just the top of one of them because they both have the same thing circled. So I have 25x, and then I have 3 v's, which is v to the third. So this is your greatest common factor. And so I'm going to factor out my 25x v to the third, and whatever is left goes inside of my parentheses. So I have a 2x and a v left on my left side on my first term, plus, and I have 3 on the right side. And so this is the factored form of my original 50x squared v to the fourth plus 75x v to the third.